reach the lair of
It's Uncle
judgment.
Pope.
Uncle Pope.
Regain its full function and lead us into the demon world.
What does he do to all the little boys?
The world where Sparta's power has been sealed.
He makes them match the scar on his face.
And the one who will lift the incantation is you.
He looks out of it.
He's not there right now. He's somewhere else.
Is Virgil and Dante's face the same model?
More than likely, yeah.
But it's just that Virgil looks like a frog to me.
There's that one frame at the end of the game where Virgil like looks up at the camera and he looks so wall-eyed.
Do you want to tell the story about how your friend called some poor French kid a frog?
Does that woman really bother you?
Okay, I had this
Why didn't
English friend.
I had this English friend from the UK.
His name was I can't-
Don't say his name.
Actually, yeah, I can't say
You
his name.
can't say his name.
Give him a fake name.
Greg.
No, just call him Birmingham.
Birmingham.
to further your study of
We're just gonna completely ignore what's happening on screen right
It's not
now.
important.
It's not important. This is way more important. So, we had this French transfer student in our English class,
more useful to me.
and on day one, I look over at my UK friend, and he's like, I fucking hate this frog. Like, immediately, there was animosity between them purely because he was French.
You're an
I don't think the other kid knew that it was a joke.
No, he had no idea it was a joke. Birmingham he was playing along. He would joke about it, but I don't think the French kid knew. He like couldn't tell, so he genuinely thought he hated him.
I had a British friend as well in my middle school years.
Have no use.
He was the most insane person I've ever met and been
The
friends with.
the stories you tell are fantastic. They're thrilling.
I come back with a new story every single time, and whenever I tell it, I just reflect and I think to myself, wow, this guy was just... He could have shot up the school at any time, and it would have made sense given the preceding events.
Would have been in character.
What's funny, too, is that he could have... No one would fight him because he actually took karate legitimately.
The insane kid that took karate.
He told a story about how he was in the same clan. Well, when I say clan, I mean
Clan?
I just mean the karate class. I don't know what they call themselves, but him and every other student in the karate class would have to run drills together. And there was this one kid that hated him purely because he was black. And he said that the kid would always call him Indian for some reason.
Tell him about the story about how he was attacked by a deer.
I'm going to I don't remember it fully, so hopefully I'll remember it as I tell it. But
This
basically,
story's fantastic.
basically, the gist is, it's his birthday. It's coming up, and he has a cabin in the woods that, they use for special events. His family, and some of my people in my class got invited. He invited me. I respectfully declined because I don't like parties.
Come on, wimp.
But I almost wish I went in a way, because he proceeded to tell me the day back of this event where they're all celebrating. They're outside. It's dark out, and they have plastic tables set up everywhere. To hold the food and the cutlery and the presents, and they start hearing cracking and twig breaks.
In the dark woods.
Yeah, and everyone gathers round because they're all thinking, "Is this a person?" Because I think they've all been desensitized to scary stories online, so they're probably expecting the worst. But no, it turns out he described it as like a glow in the dark. It turned out to be the eyes of the deer.
That would be terrifying, to be fair.
And for anyone who thinks that a deer is not a big deal, and you realize how big an actual animal is when you're in person.
Yeah, like you see horses on TV all the time as a kid, but when you actually see one in person, you're like, my god, that thing is huge.
So the deer is initially checking out everything.
Was it a boy or a girl?
I think it was a boy.
Then that's cause for concern.
But basically everyone starts backing off. But I think they backed off too fast or something, because something startled the deer and it started running around. And my friend, my British friend, it went after him.
Birthday boy.
And he went on the other side of a plastic table, but the deer didn't care and it ran through the table.
Deer didn't give a fuck.
And
it saw red.
And simultaneously after that, it pushed the table into my friend, and he made I'll never be able to. He described the sound he made, and I'll never be able to recreate it for one. It was such a beautiful sound he made to me when he was retelling the story. It was like.
Oh
He
shit.
threw his body into the sound he was making.
Like you just did, you just hit the table.
But that was the story, and he didn't really describe what happened afterward. He kind of just left it blank.
He got attacked by a fucking skinwalker, that wasn't a deer.
Yeah, they heard "Roar" in the woods. He was from Manchester, and he was hilarious. He was from, actually, he might have been from London. He was from a big city.
The Resident Evil conversation's completely dead. It'll never.
We
It's
can bring
nowhere near as interesting.
We can bring it up right now.
Okay,
It's fine.
let's talk about 6. What do you think of 6?
We haven't even talked about 5. We're just gonna. Okay, fine. I guess 5 doesn't matter anyway. 6. People got mad that you could run, you could walk and shoot, even though that was something people complained about in other games where you couldn't walk and shoot because they said it was unrealistic. Now they say it's not scary. I thought the idea of multiple characters was interesting, but it wasn't really utilized in any meaningful way.
It was a good idea. It would make a great action movie.
No, it wouldn't.
Oh look, Dante's fucking bawling.
Yeah, he does the Kobe O'Brien. It's just animated horribly.
Yeah. It looks like it should have been an actual cutscene. Just fucking
I
misses.
don't remember that cutscene at all. Anyway, what are the best campaigns in 6? Leon definitely, just because of the novelty of zombies and the fact that it's the most horror based out of any of them. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I honestly don't like Chris at all. Chris Redfield, I think he's extremely boring.
Yeah.
They're all boring characters because
Yes.
they're all just, I'm a person.
Well, that was
Oh, and wait, let's stop this really quick. And
This cutscene's great.
comment on this cutscene really quick. This is the worst cutscene in the game.
That man. Did you kill him?
So what if I did? Ooh, I love a fast woman.
He was obsessed with becoming the devil. So much he killed his own wife. For that he butchered innocent people too.
It's not
He's
funny.
the most vile kind of creature.
Where's the best part? That's not it. There it is.
He's having such a good time hearing Lady pour her heart out.
You may not know this. This might be a spoiler for some newcomers. So jump out now, but Arkham is her dad.
If you couldn't tell.
To top it off,
No, they said that earlier. He said, "My dear daughter."
Does
and then,
he?
And then he fucking throws her off the tower.
Oh, okay, well I guess that is...
And
You've
what
already
would
been
you know of
spoiled
your
then.
family? You're a demon. This is my father.
Part demon, actually.
My family. This was all supposed to end by my hand.
Remember when DMC Devil May Cry made it immediately less interesting because he was half angel, half demon?
Yeah.
A Nephilim?
Yep.
Even though, I don't know, I guess that does work like that. Shouldn't he be giant then? In DMC Devil May Cry?
Yeah. In terms of biblical accuracy.
Aren't you gonna shoot? Well, that's a switch.
Just go.
They should have had biblically accurate angels in DMC Devil May Cry. They should have had eyes everywhere, and wheels
That would have
within-
been metal.
And wheels within wheels.
Family, huh?
I am not religious whatsoever, but I read the Bible purely because it was entertaining.
It would make a great anime.
People who say the Bible is boring have no idea what they're talking about. That is some of the best character arcs I've ever read in anything.
It is some of the most metal shit I've ever read.
Where am I?
Imagine being stabbed by a dimension-cutting sword and just waking up from it.
You're still alive, I see.
Mary?
He's gaslighting the fuck out of her right now.
Anyway, here's Sriracha coming out of his mouth.
My mother. You killed her, remember?
Anyway, back to the Resident Evil.
Oh yeah.
What are the campaigns? What do you think about them?
Leon's is definitely...
What
Okay, listen.
have I done?
I don't fully understand the term guilty pleasure, but if I had to use it in the context of a Resident Evil game,
You were possessed.
6 would definitely be that. And out of all the campaigns, Leon's is definitely the one I replay the most. I'm not saying the game is good. However, I find it absolutely entertaining
Yeah,
for all the wrong reasons.
I don't like the game.
Named Virgil.
It's really hard for me to place 5 or 6 over one or the other because I think they're both awful.
A world that Sparta once sealed off.
Sparta.
If I had to guess, I'd say 5 is probably a little bit better because it's easier to die in it.
This world
Whereas 6, there's no threat of dying at all.
No.
him.
Sheva, come on! Come on! Sheva, come on!
Also, the music in those games suck. Remember the stupid techno music in 6?
Nope.
Such a sweet child.
When you played the Mercenaries, it sounds like Deadmau5 did the soundtrack.
Just
I remember no tracks from 5 or 6.
It's probably that goes to show you how memorable it is.
Yep. Listen, Resident Evil has never really had memorable soundtracks outside of the save room themes.
That is not true. 1 and 4 had amazing.
You didn't let me
soundtracks.
finish. I was gonna say, however, 1 and 4 have some pretty memorable tracks.
I like some songs in 3.
Virgil.
Yeah.
There's the one song in 2's remake, which is Hunk.
Oh yeah!
It's so over the top though. I cannot take it seriously.
It goes something like that. You're the only man left in Raccoon City.
I remember watching you play that. You got really frustrated.
I did get really frustrated. I got fucking epic gamer rage.
I don't mean to sound condescending, but I beat that on my second try.
Oh no. How do you fight these fuckers?
I don't remember. Look away from them. They're like booze.
It's stupid. These guys are stupid. Oh, 7. What do you think of 7?
I don't like 7, personally. I know it rejuvenated the series.
Yeah. I'm forever thankful for that. However,
The game is not scary. It is.
it's so ridiculous.
It shamelessly rips off PT at a lot of moments. It's not hard to die in that game at all, really, for the most part.
What do you mean not hard to die?
It's just, you're never really in fear of
that's
ever
what you mean.
being killed. I like that ammo means more in that game, especially on harder difficulties, but even that becomes trivial as the game progresses.
I thought the save room theme for that game was great.
It was fine.
Very cozy.
There were no likable characters in that game for me.
No.
Ethan is the worst main character they've ever had.
Yeah.
Hands down.
All the main characters are tropes and shit, but my god, Ethan is just
Whoa. I didn't expect that.
pretty much. Margaret turns into a giant insect lady and he says, well, that's special. That's his reaction.
He's not even relatable in being scared of the environment. You know why characters like Luigi and Crash Bandicoot are likable? It's because they're so scared of what's happening around them, yet they manage to overcome it. Simple thing like that makes them more likable than Ethan. Do me a favor. Stay dead. That's what I would say after I saw
The most horrific
chainsaw
thing
scissor-
imaginable.
a chainsaw scissor weapon of a guy who I supposedly just killed and who blew up in front of me. That's what I would say. He even has dumb lines in 8. They didn't even fix him there. He still says stupid things.
Where's the last one?
Not to mention, I know this falls into Lumo narrative dissonance, but I think
I
it's
wasn't in all the way.
I think it's very contradictory that in 8 you meet the family in the house at the beginning of the game and you try and save the girl and she falls into the fire and Ethan is all messed up about it. He's like, he's like sad over it or frustrated over it, but throughout the entirety of the series, he's like seeing horrific, grotesque things happen.
Leon Kennedy, after seeing the most horrific thing imaginable, he just shoots it.
Like in Resident Evil 7, he literally gets his hand cut off, but a girl dying, falling into a fire is too much for him.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah, that's at the beginning of the game. I remember now. There's that one moment in the game that scared the ever-living shit out of me.
Yeah, you actually screamed.
Oh yeah. I love a game that can make me scream.
There's never been a single horror game that has scared me. I like horror, don't get me wrong.
Me too.
I like the genre, but I don't scare easily.
Me neither. But that baby scene in Resident Evil 8 really got me good.
It made me excited.
Oh yeah, that
But-
made me so happy. I was so happy that it actually made me scream.
Because
The context of the scene was, it's the end bit where you're going into the elevator and you just barely make it out.
but it was also the introduction of the baby.
Fantastic.
I like that each sector of the map is themed after a different genre or subgenre of horror.
Mm-hmm.
You have the classic Resident Evil with Lady
Domitrescu.
Domitrescu or whatever you say her name. You have the body horror with the weird gross guy. I don't remember his name.
Oh yeah, the fish man.
Yeah. You have psychological horror or thriller with kind of like an Alfred Hitchcock or a Shining type of horror with the Dollhouse. Then you have classic action. Not classic, but you have the
Like
the new
slasher.
You have the not slasher. You have the action Resident Evil, the newer action-based Resident Evil with Heisenberg.
The Forbidden Orb.
Hey, it's one of my favorite bosses in the game.
I love this boss.
I just like him because of how hard he is. He's actually a hard boss.
I love that he goes around the map a lot too. It's a lot of fun.
His design isn't very great, but
No.
I like him.
I wonder what Dante smells like.
He should have been in Berserk instead of Wild. How many people remember that character, Wild?
I hate Wild.
What are you talking about? He's the best. He looks like a
Alright.
He looks like a monkey.
You want to get started on Wild? And how much I do not like him?
I guess we're done with Resident Evil, sure.
Okay. Wild, right? In Berserk. I hate him. I do not mind that he was cut from the movie and the show.
There's probably so many people who are just like, who the fuck is that guy?
I don't like him because at the time, the only other apostle that you really saw,
Zod.
or at least that Guts fought, was, yeah, Zod. And the problem with Wild is that it shows that they're beatable. And up to that point, Zod feels like this absolute inhuman monster, and it's like, how is that even supposed to be fought? It's inhuman. And it made Guts, of all people, afraid, you know? But the fact that Guts is able to hurt Wild and defeat him in a way, even though he gets back up, I really don't like that. It takes away from the fear.
I don't think it takes away from it completely, because Wild doesn't die.
No, that's what I mean. He wasn't defeated completely.
He comes back. He was beaten. He comes back.
That's what I mean. He was beaten. It shows that they can be put down,
He comes back and Zod rips him in half.
which I also don't like.
Well, at least Zod gets to be the one that kills him.
Yeah, I guess. Damn! That has crazy range.
What's so... I like... Kentaro decided to keep that, but he decided to cut the, Determinism God.
Oh, the idea of evil.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
He decided to cut the idea of evil chapter, but he kept Wild.
Damn it.
I've read the idea of evil chapter. I managed to find it. It was this sewer that had a couple bookshelves and some paper that I was able to read it off of.
Full of ancient tomes.
What would you do if you read the idea of evil chapter and you always wondered, like, why was this cut? And then you read it and it's, instead of like the weird brain, it's neocortex.
I'd be really upset.
Crystals, Griffin. Of course.
Made that joke in episode. I'm gonna fucking die.
I didn't think that, Jim. Well, at least that goes to show he's a hard boss, even though you just did poorly as well.
What do you mean? I got really close to beating him. Oh, filthy bastard.
Is it Uncle Fester in the Addams Family? Is that his name?
Yes.
What would you do if he was in this game instead of Jexter?
Jester?
Jester, whatever.
I'd be really happy.
Hope there's a mod of this game where it's Crash Bandicoot and Cortex instead of Dante and Virgil.
It's Sasuke and Rieko. That's definitely out there.
Remember when Naughty Dog made video games?
You guys remember that? Remember when video games were in movies that you occasionally got control from?
There is a place for that more narrative roller coaster type of video game, but I think Uncharted is overrated.
Oh, hell yeah.
I always get bored with those games, and I've played all of them. I haven't beaten all of them. I've beaten 2, and I've played them all to great lengths multiple times. I feel like I'm an insane person whenever I talk about Uncharted because everybody just talks about how much they love it,
I
but
never got the appeal either. You're not alone.
but I honestly do not like Uncharted at all. I think it's so boring.
Yep. Puzzles suck. They're not even puzzles.
My biggest problem is just because when you die, it restarts you very close to where you left off, so what's the point of dying at that point?
Bastard. Oh, shit. Doing way better this time.
The modern Rockstar games have that problem as well.
Yeah.
At least Rockstar can fall back on their open worlds being somewhat unpredictable, but the missions suck.
Can we just appreciate how shit the aiming is in Rockstar games? At least their modern games.
GTA 5 was okay for the time. That game came out in 2013, remember? So the aiming was like okay.
How do I dodge that?
Red Dead Redemption 1's aiming is okay. But, listen, and that's not to say all of their older games are better either. San Andreas has awful aiming. GTA 3's aiming is terrible. And Red Dead Redemption 2's aiming is awful.
God awful.
I hate the entire aiming system of Red Dead Redemption 2, to be honest. Everything about it is irritating.
But Rylan, it's realistic.
No, but there's so many things in the game that contradict the realism it's going for. Remember in, was it Breath of the Wild, where eating actually does things for you? And
Damn.
you have, even in games like Minecraft, you are the one to set up your fire.
Yeah.
Like, making a campfire, that is up to you in those types of games. Terraria, Minecraft, and even Zelda, for a modern example, you make your campfire, right? And those games look the way they look. They don't look realistic at all. And everyone talks about Red Dead Redemption 2 being realistic, but when you select the campfire option, all of a sudden it cuts black. You go to the nearest terrain that's safe. You have a tent all of a sudden, and your fire, even if it's fucking raining, is somehow persisting through the rain.
I also love that it takes you 5 seconds to turn around.
That's a minor gripe. What I would point out is that I hate that you have to pick up individual items, when there's literally no reason why you would not want to pick up anything in a house. The Last of Us 2, we're not talking about the game here, it has an auto pickup button, where if you go into the settings and you just hit auto pickup, Abby or Ellie will automatically pick up an item just by standing next to it. Why is that not in Red Dead Redemption 2? Is there ever a point in that game where you do not want to pick up ammo or a food or
Stupid.
or a key item?